I'm here with Dan from Home Barista and the VBM Dual Profiler, which Dan, you and I, we put this to the test with pressure profiles last time. Just as a reminder, what is a pressure profile?
Well, when you do the brewing process, you can choose how you want the brew pressure to perform. For example, you might want to start with a lower pressure during the pre-infusion phase, ramp up and then decline. That's kind of a classic lever profile. Another one might be flat. There are ways that you can experiment with it. So that's really what we did in our last video, and this time we're going to zoom in on that.
That's right. So we're going to put this to the test through 3 different use cases. So I've now created my own pressure profile based on testing this for a few months now, the Martin profile. So we're going to try the Martin profile first of all. Then we're going to try just the manual profile. So this will just put everything through at the same pressure, except we're going to use the flow control device here to actually manually control that process. And then in the third test, we're going to put it all together with a cappuccino.
Last time we used kind of a classic espresso blend. That's one that emphasizes chocolates, nutties, the sort of thing that you serve with your family all the time.
That's right.
But I wanted to try something a little bit different. And so I brought a different coffee. This one is a single origin from a micro lot, which has a completely different taste profile. And I want to surprise you, so I'm not going to go on to it much. We'll wait until later in the video. I'll explain what that is.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's get started with the first brew.
So we've gone ahead and prepped a basket. This is approximately 17 grams, and we're going to pull an approximately double espresso. So go ahead and lock in and add a glass. And here we go. This is a straight, this is Martin's profile, right?
That's right.
Here, let's give it a roll. So that starts out initially at about 3 bar, then starts to ramp up. We wanted this a little bit of slower pour, so we tightened up the grind just to extend the extraction time. And there we go, 34.4 grams. Yeah, that's really good. For the cameraman, you got to give this a try. This is very good. How do you describe it? I'm not going to give you any clues because I've told you nothing, right?
I'll tell you what is different. We may have tried a few of these shots just to dial stuff in beforehand. They're a little bit sour. This is much smoother.
So in the previous extraction, we used automation where a gear pump controlled the pressure. Here we're going to do a manual one, and that's using this flow control device. That's kind of a new, old way of doing things where you can tweak the pressure on the fly. And so I'll show you what that looks like here. You can see that you can start out with just a tiny trickle, and then by turning this knob, you can increase the flow, and you hear the pump going fast as the tone of the pump is going up because it's flowing out more quickly. So that's changing the flow rate. Now, once we actually have some resistance, flow rate changes pressure. I'm going to produce a profile which was very similar to what Martin's was, but I'm going to try and elongate it a little bit. And this is where the fun of experimentation comes into play. So here we go. I can also listen to the pump and get an idea of what it's up to. So now you see the pressure going up. And I'm going to start backing off to like 7 bar. Want to keep it around there. And I'm also watching the weight of the beverage. Now I'm going to start slowing it down about now. And there we go. Well, that's still really a solid shot, but I'll have to be honest, I think I preferred the automated one just a little bit, but let's see what the cameraman thinks.
Because what the cameraman suggests, this is really the real evaluation. Still got a very pleasant smell. Oh, that's good. Yeah, really noticeable tones of strawberry in this one. I think I prefer this one over the automated one.
Up to this point, we've been talking almost exclusively about making espresso, but there's a lot of latte and cappuccino fans out there. And so we're going to go ahead and do that as well and see how that affects the taste profile that we just enjoyed a moment ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to that cappuccino. Start our espresso. Using a decent sized cappuccino cup. What's that, about 10 ounces, I would say, something like that. Start that. Okay. Boom. So now we just want to make sure that the texture is correct. You can see that I wanted to stretch this a little bit more. So this is not for a latte, this is for a cappuccino. You can kind of tell by looking at that how big those, can I call them cotton balls are? How big the cotton balls kind of tell you how much foam you produce. And by swirling it back and forth, not only do you mix it, but you also confirm that it's the right texture. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, apologies in advance for my latte art skills. This is just the way it is. So think happy thoughts. And there we go. That's respectable. And let's go ahead and give it a taste now. Yeah. This is the reason I wanted to bring this. This is definitely not your typical espresso classic blend. It's got a little bit of single origin fruitiness to it. And usually that doesn't work in cappuccinos. And that's why I wanted to bring this to Martin.
Now, you told me it was kind of a little bit fruity, a little bit creamy. And the strawberries and cream that's going on here is incredible. It's got a fruity sweetness to it that mixes so well with the sweetness of the milk without being sickly sweet. You're going to need to find your own cappuccino. This one's mine. Well, I think we can say that came out surprisingly well. I love that cappuccino. So Dan, what would you say your final thoughts are on this system and what we've tried today?
The E61 has been around literally for decades. And what's really exciting about it is that there's been continual evolution. This here, the dual profiler, is the latest one. And it's kind of cool how Martin, who's relatively new to espresso, has already learned how to experiment with different coffees, all while having really sometimes great results and other times not, but being able to play with that. I mean, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, that's been exactly it. This idea of being able to play around with different profiles, because I couldn't tell you, oh yes, I prefer 3 bar and then 6 bar, and I just need to try it. And the fact that I'm able to try that, put my own profiles in, see how it comes out, play around as well with the flow control, see how that comes out, and then get to somewhere where I'm happy with it, and then program it in, and then I can consistently get that same profile over and over again without me having to manually do it. So the ability to automate this, dial it into how I like it, and then just set it as a profile has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this.
You know what's going to happen? Because of this review, people are going to say, I want to use the Martin profile.
Well, yes, we need to release the Martin profile to the public domain. We can't keep such greatness just to this one machine.
Well, thanks, Martin. I really had fun with this.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks, Dan.